Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. I'm here, Dr. Shida. I will proceed with our next lesson on chapter 4 to design effective learning strategies for occupational safety and health training. Let's start with design of a job aids. So in this subtopic, we will understand what is the definition of a job aids, what is it important to have a job aids in OSH trainings, and how are you going to design an effective job aids for OSH trainings. So job aids defined as the tools, resources, or materials that are designed to support and enhance job performance. And job aids are typically designed to be easily accessible and user-friendly for the trainees to follow our trainings. And job aids are valuable because it provides on-the-job support and also it reduces the need for extensive training memorizations. So it serves job performance aids that bridge the gap between the learning and the application process. Why is it important for us to have a job aids when we want to design in our OSH trainings? So job aids play a crucial role in OSH training by providing immediate access to critical information, guidance, and resources. It gives us quick reference and reminders so that job aids serve a quick references to the employees that can consult on the spot what they need a specific information or reminders about the safety procedures, protocols, and hazard controls. Standardizations of practices. Job aids promote consistency and standardization of a safety practices across the organizations. In other words, it provides you step-by-step instructions or checklists so that the workers ensure that they follow established certain safety protocols and procedures consistently. And next is the support for new employees or transfers, because job aids especially valuable, yeah, for new employees so that they understand, they can familiarize with a new setting and they can adjust accordingly to the safety requirements. And last but not least, it's also on the job trainings and support performance. Like job aids are useful tools for the OJT and performance supports, and they can be used by either supervisors or trainers to guide employees through a specific task or providing visual cues and checklists that they can follow. So job aids facilitate learning and reduce the need for the constant supervisions. So in other words, you don't have to rely so much on your trainers and supervisors, but with the job aids, eventually it gives you some ideas and input on how to perform certain work safely. Besides that, it is also prepare for the emergency. In a certain situations, okay, with the job aids, it gives a promoting effective emergency response, which we provide the employees with the clear instructions on the evacuation procedures or the emergency contact informations and the first aid protocols. Reinforcement of a training. Job aids acts as reinforcement tools after initial certain types of training sessions. So somehow it gives you some reminders on the key safety procedures and some precautions during the training program. So by having access to the job aids, employees can always refresh their knowledge. They can also clarify anything that they are unsure, and this also reinforce the training material that can help sustain a certain safety focused mindset. Continuous improvement. So for job aids, it can be regularly reviewed and updated to incorporate new safety practices. Overall, job aids in OSH trainings are valuable tools that support safe work practices and constantly promote to adherence on the safety protocols. Okay, how are we going to design effective job aids for OSH trainings? So designing effective job aids for OSH training involve careful consideration where we need to know what is our target audience, the specific tasks and procedures, and what are the learning objectives. So here are some of the key principles that you need to keep in your mind when you design job aids for OSH training. You need to keep it clear and concise. So why is it keep it clear and concise? Because job aids should present information in a clear and concise manner. So you need to avoid all kind of a jargon, and then you need to simplify what are the main important things that you need to deliver to your trainees. Use a lot of visual and graphics. Usual visual elements such as diagram, icons, and illustrations will help your job aids more effective. Next, designing effective job aids for all trainings. You need to organize the information logically. Structure the job aid in a logical sequence that matches with the workflow or task that being performed. Highlight keywords, key points, and what are the warnings. Use a lot of visual cues such as certain types of colors, certain type of font or icons to highlight those important informations or critical or certain level of warning. And you need to provide contextual information like include relevant context or background information that help users to understand and the purpose or rationale behind the safety procedures. This promotes better comprehensions, enable a lot of informations to be used and applied in a different situation. On designing effective job aids for OS training, you need to ensure the accessibility and portability. It can be test and iterate, and you need to keep your job aids up to date. Regularly review and update your job aids to ensure they reflect and most current safety practices, regulations, and organizational changes. Besides that, when you design effective job aids for OS training, is you need to provide training and familiarization, provide user support. By following this kind of design principle, job aids for OS training can become valuable tools that to assist your employees in performing any task safely. And effective job aids not only they enhance a learning transfer, but of course contribute to the culture of a safety in the workplace. How are we going to design for interaction? Of course, we are always worried when we conduct trainings, and the trainings are one way or passive training, which our trainers is the only one who talk, and we always see with the situation that our trainee or our students don't really respond to us. So you need to understand and you need to carefully design your training plan with the designing for interactions. Okay, so we're going to start with an overview. What is interactive learning? And then why is it important to have the interactions in the OS trainings? And what are the techniques on designing interactive interactions in OS trainings? So an overview of interactive learning, it involves active participations or very high engagement between learners, between learners and the trainees, and between learners with the training material. So it moves away from the traditional passive learning method, which learners are encouraged to actively participate and apply their knowledge to the current needs. So an overview for effective learning, interactive learning in OS training, it has to be active participations. Learners should actively engage with all kind of activities and materials, and these active involvements enhance the understanding and retention of the knowledge, collaborations and knowledge sharing. By having a group activities and case studies, discussions, presentations, and of course adult learners, they like to exchange their experience, as this collaborative learning environment fosters critical thinking, problem solving, and it's also provide an explorations from one another, because when experience has been shared from one adult to another adult, so it encourage a lot of discussions. And in other words, you make your trainings more interactive. Real world applications, for adults learners, they appreciates interactive learning that focus on the practical application in the real world scenarios, where learners are presented with case studies, simulations, and practical exercise that mirror to their workplace situations. So this kind of application based approach bridges the gap between theory and practice, and this also helps to prepare the learners for any challenges that they may face when they perform their job. Immediate feedback and reflection, and to have the engaging multimedia and technology. So interactive learning in OS training leverage a lot of multimedia elements and technology that can enhance engagement and understanding. Like now we have have a lot of videos, animations, VR and AR, interactive online platform that could capture learners' attentions and delivery the information in dynamic way. The importance of interaction of OSH trainings, it provides active learning, knowledge retention and transfer, real world application. Besides that, collaborations and knowledge sharing and immediate feedback and reflection. Next, the importance of why we need to have interactions in our trainings is also to provide the motivation and engagement. Interaction creates more engaging and motivating learning experience. Active participations and involvement stimulate learners to maintain their attention and enhance their overall motivation to learn. Addressing questions and concerns, which interaction provides an avenue for learners to ask questions, to seek clarifications, and address concerns related to safety practices. Next is the importance of interaction in OS trainings because it also promotes the behavioral changes, which interaction has the potential to drive behavioral changes through interactive discussions, through the sharing of experience. Certain unsafe behaviors can be identified and can be discussed among the learners. So by incorporating interactive elements into OS training, such as discussion, group activities, um, case study, it creates an engaging and effective learning experience. So interaction fosters active learning, knowledge retention, and real-world applications. And ultimately, it contributes to a safer work environment and could inculcate safety work culture. What are the techniques for designing interactive OS training? So first example is a case study. So this technique present learners with the real hypothetical scenarios related to OS issues. In other words, is encouraged for learners to analyze certain type of situation and identify hazards accordingly. Second is group discussions. When you divide your learners into small groups and have a specific topic or question related to OSH, this will encourage the group to participate and they like to share their perspective and experience, which can foster a lot of collaborative learning and critical thinking that also promotes a certain exchange of knowledge among the learners. Role plays, assign the role plays to learners can have a certain can be act out in a different workplace situations. So role plays allow participants to experience and practice certain types of skills like decision making and communications and problem solving in a certain controlled environment. Next is the interactive demonstrations. If you use interactive demonstration to showcase certain manual or safety procedures, like the correct use of equipment or the implementation of specific control measures, this will allow participants to ask questions and to give feedback to you, and they will like to demonstrate themselves. So this kind of hands-on activities could eventually increase the level of retention of informations and skills that you need to provide to your audience. Next, for the techniques on designing interactive OS training is simulations. So simulations we can either have, nowadays we can have a computer-based or virtual reality simulations that can replicate to the real world environment, which is it is risk-free and it is safer. So they can learn a lot and by a lot of mistakes, but eventually it's not going to harm them, even though it is at the they are at the real workplace, but it is virtual, so it is safer for them to make a lot of mistakes. So group activities or games, design group activities or games that can focus on OSH concepts such as hazard identification, like hazard hunt, that kind of things. They can be in a form of quizzes or board game or interactive online, which promote healthy competition, like certain type of engagement of and retention of certain numbers of information. Next is the practical exercises. It incorporates hands-on practical exercises where learners can apply OSH principle in a real or simulated work settings, interactive multimedia. when we use certain type of multimedia such as videos and animation, and these dynamic resources can demonstrate safety procedures and highlighting certain hazards more clearer to the audience. Designing interactive occupational safety and health training involve you need to incorporate several techniques that can promote active participation and engagement. So when designing interactive OSH training, we need to consider the specific needs and characteristic of the target audience and what are the objective of our trainings. So this goal is to actively involve participants to promote engagement, to facilitate practical applications, and also to promote their critical thinking. So besides that, we may want to use the Q&A sessions. You need to dedicate times for Q&A, encourage the participants to ask questions. And this kind of interactive dialogue promotes engagement and address individual concerns. So next is the feedback and reflections. When we provide feedback and reflections throughout the trainings, eventually it encourage self-reflections by asking the participant to assess whether they understand or not, or they identified the certain areas of improvement or certain set of personal goals when they want to practice certain safety procedures. All right, with that, thank you. I would like to end our 4.3. So we will continue again to the next chapter on designing learning strategies for effective design and development of OSH trainings. With that, thank you, and I see you soon.